Greetings from Eliot English Academy. Dear friends, in this video I am going to discuss T.S. Eliot's very important work, The Wasteland. It is a long poem which was dedicated for Ezra Pound. Whether you are preparing for PGTRB exam or NET examination, becoming familiar with each and every line of The Wasteland will help you to crack the questions in future. Before I start, let me point out some of the tributes given to this particular work. First by I.A. Richards. He says, it is a music of ideas. Wasteland is a music of ideas. It creates a complete severance between poetry and all beliefs. So it serves as a block in between. So whatever you had faith regarding poetry, that is completely dismantled by the Wasteland. So that is the tribute by I.A. Richards. Then another critic, C. Day Lewis, says, it makes us aware of the mental disintegration, the dominant self-consciousness, and the groping of the fragments of a shattered faith. Of course, the 20th century marked so many problems in the world. So the problems of the world got into the mind of the people. So people started living shattered life. This has been picturized by T.S. Eliot in The Wasteland. Let's have a brief introduction about the writer. T.S. Eliot lived between 1888 and 1965. He was an American-born British poet, essayist, publisher, playwright, literary critic and editor. He is a central figure in English language modernist poetry. So he is popularly known as a modernist. So he received Nobel Prize for Literature in 1948. It is interesting to note. So the Nobel Prize Committee noted his poetry for his outstanding pioneer contribution to present day poetry. So he was the face of 20th century modern poetry. Some of his important works are The Love Song of J. Alfred Prufrock. Then it is considered as a modernist masterpiece. Then The Wasteland in 1922, The Hollow Men, Ash Wednesday and Four Quarters. He has written so many, but these are the works that are representative. Regarding his plays, of course, Murder in the Cathedral is very famous and that figures in most of the textbooks across the world. Then another famous work is The Cocktail Party. So on the whole, T.S. Eliot is an outstanding writer. Before I start analyzing the individual lines, let me give the introduction about the work The Wasteland. So this particular work is dedicated to Ezra Pound, his mentor and friend. This consists of 434 lines. First, it appeared in United Kingdom in the October issue of Eliot's The Criterion. First, it appeared in Criterion. Later, in the United States, it was featured in The Dial. So both are magazines. As a book, it was published in December 1922. So from exam point of view, the publication of The Wasteland is 1922. Some of the famous phrases from this work are, so this is the opening line, April is the cruelest month. Like that, I will show you fear in handful of dust. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. So this is the concluding phrase. So April is the cruelest month, that is the opening line. Shanti, 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 that is the concluding line. T.S. Eliot in this work combines the legend of the Holy Grail and the Fisher King with contemporary British society. He uses the literary and cultural allusions from the Western canon, that is the Western literature, Buddhism and Hindu Upanishads. So he has combined so many faiths. So regarding the structure, it consists of 5 sections. First, the burial of the dead. Second, a game of chess. Third, the fire sermon. Fourth, death by water. Fifth, what the thunder said. Each one has got its own source. So normally in competitive exams, so what is the source of this section? Like that it is asked. Regarding the theme, it has got a diverse theme. In spite of that, to point out to disillusionment and despair, especially in the modern time, in the 20th century, what are the disappointments faced by human beings? That has been beautifully picturized. And there is an interesting information regarding the title. Originally, T.S. Eliot considered entitling the poem as He Do the Police in Different Voices. The first two sections of the poem appeared under the same title in Switzerland. So then afterwards, he attributes the title, The Wasteland, to Jessie Weston's work, Ritual to Romance. A poem similar to the theme and language is Wasteland. So be very careful. T.S. Eliot's work is titled The Wasteland. So there is another person, Madison Garvin. He has written Wasteland with the same idea. So we have to be very careful. So with definite article the, there is The Wasteland, T.S. Eliot. Without definite article Wasteland, it is by Madison Garvin. It was published in 1913. That is 9 years ahead of T.S. Eliot's work. This is the epigraph of The Wasteland. The epigraph of this work is derived from Satricon of Petronius Arbiter. It is like a miniature painting, very suggestive in nature. It states the essence of the poem's principal theme. That is the Sibyl, so it is a Greek character. Sibyl Cume is shown hanging in a cage and speaking to the boys and expressing her innermost wish, I want to die. So here, through this, let me explain the story a little bit later. That is an allusion. So the epigraph signifies, among other things, that is, so the indirectly it suggests the death wish of modern European civilization. The wasteland has been influenced to some extent by Freudian psychology, and therefore the use of the term death wish is justified. So the thing is, the modern people, the modern theme of decay and death is predominant through this suggestive epigraph. So here, let me allude to the Greek mythology. In Greek mythology, there was a character called Sibyls. She was known as women. Actually, it is a collective noun. Sibyls are women possessing great prophetic powers. So once the Sibyl at Cumae, it is a place, Cumae, was the most famous of them. So it is like they are like witches. At her request, Apollo, the god, had granted her immortality. But in the excitement, she failed to get the youth. I hope you get the point. So one of the Sibyls asked Apollo the immortality. He also granted, but she did not get the youth. Consequently, she became aged and infirm, and by the age she lost all her powers also. The power of her prophecy also declined. So what she had was the wish of dying. Once the children come to her and ask, what do you want? She answered, I wish to die. These words are uttered by the drunken Trimalchio in the Satricon. So it is a satire. Please make a note of it. Satyricon. Satricon is a satire composed by Gaius Petronius. The same dialogue has been used by the character there, I want to die. So what is the connection between that work, so that is Satricon, and the wasteland. So in the modern time, the people wish to die since they are disillusioned by the things that are happening around them. They are not able to sustain in this world, so they want to die. So this has been explained in the given epigraph. So it is highly suggestive. So this is dedicated to Ezra Pound. Now let's go to the first section, the burial of the dead. The title, the burial of the dead, is derived from the Book of Common Prayer. So it is a Christian book. Also it conveys the burial of the fertility god, explained by Miss Jessie Weston and James Fraser in their work. According to these myths, they are related to vegetation cults and harvest festivals and the cycle of fertility and decay. So the most important information here is the burial of the dead title is derived from the Book of Common Prayer. It talks about the rejuvenation, revival of the natural things. Now let's enter into the poem. April is the cruelest month. So this line is very immortal because this has been quoted often. So why? Breeding lilacs out of the dead land, mixing memory and desire, staring dull roots with spring rain. So lilacs, the bird, lilac has got its own reference because lilacs is a bird, it is a symbol of spring. It is a flower, lilac flower, symbol of spring, renewal in nature and fertility. So Eliot reverses the implication of this allusion. So for conventions, so it is a flower that considers revival. Actually, how he begins, April is the cruelest month. At that time, almost the autumn season begins. At the same time, when the flowers and the seeds die, so that is the base for the next season, spring. Dull roots with spring rain. Winter kept us warm, covering earth in forgetful snow. Right? So the seeds, everything go down, and during the season of in the month of April, everything goes down. Everything gets disappeared from the earth. So earth in forgetful snow, so it goes under the snow, feeding a little life with dried tubers. Of course, here feeding a little bit tubers refers to, here the poet seems to quote from James Thomson's work, To Our Ladies of Death. Right? So it is an allusion. Then summer surprised us. Coming over the Starnberg is, so it is the name of a lake resort near West Germany, in West Germany. So here it is a name of a resort in West Germany. With a shower of rain, we stopped in the colonnade. So here we understand. So the narrator says, we stopped. So the narrator is accompanied by someone and went on in sunlight into the Hofgarten. It is a public park in Munich, Munich, that is the Royal Garden. So Hofgarten refers to Royal Garden in Munich, that is also in Germany. So Starberg is Hofgarten, they are in Munich, that is in West Germany, and drank coffee and talked for an hour. So this is the first stanza. Here we find so many imageries. So the narrator, probably another person is walking in West Germany. They go to a resort, then they go to a park, and at that time the month is April. Lilacs are dying, and the roots will spring again probably later, and the seeds, everything is covered. So it is April is the month of destruction. Next, Bingar, Russian. So here the meaning is, I am not Russian at all. As Lithuanian. So Lithuanian refers to, he says, I am not a Russian at all. I am not Russian. I come from Lithuania. I am a pure real German. Actually, this is the time in which in Germany the racial purity, the idea of racial purity started. So here the narrator says, I am not a Russian. I don't belong to another country. I am a pure German. I belong to pure German race. And when we were children, staying at the Archduke's, my cousins, he took me out on a sledge and I was frightened. The narrator reveals the childhood experience. Once when he was taken by the cousin on a sledge, he was frightened. Sledge, it is the small vehicle that runs over the ice. He said, Mary, Mary, hold on tight. And down we went in the mountains. There you feel free. I read much of the night and go south in the winter. So we have a reference for Mary. So this is the incident derived from the work My Past, 1913, the autobiography of Mary Lorich. Marirasch. Mary Lorich is a countess and relation of King Ludwig. Please make a note of it. Who is King Ludwig? We will come to know. Eliot had met her, that is Mary, and talked about the sledging which is referred in this poem. Mary was interested in fortune telling through cards and was assassinated on the bank of Lake Leman. So here we have the allusion. Mary, she belongs to Germany and she was a fortune teller and she was assassinated in Lake Leman and she was the relation of King Ludwig. The second stanza. Actually, the stanzas are unequal. The stanzas are not equal and the definite rhyme scheme is not followed. What are the roots that clutch? What branches grow out of this stony rubbish? Son of man, you cannot say or guess, for you know only a heap of broken images. So here the entire work, some critics say, as accepted by T.S. Eliot in this particular line. So know only a heap of broken images. There is not a definite storyline. There is not a single theme here. So what we find in the wasteland is a heap full of broken images. Then who is referred as Son of Man? So it is a biblical allusion, Ezekiel 2.1, in which the line goes from Old Testament, it goes like this. And he said unto me, Son of man, stand upon the feet and I will speak unto thee. So Eliot himself has referred to the book of the prophet Ezekiel. So Son of the man, here suddenly it is said, so what do we see in this world? Nothing but a heap of broken images where the sun beats and the dead tree gives no shelter, the cricket no relief, and the dry stone no sound of water. So what do we find there? So sun beats, so scorching sun, and there is no leaf, on the tree, and there is no insects, and only dry stone is there. There is no water. Only there is shadow under this red rock. Come in under the shadow of this red rock and I will show you something different from either your shadow at morning, striding behind you, or your shadow at evening rising to meet you. I will show you fear in a handful of dust. So here, what do we see everywhere? The modern time. So the modern time that is affected by war. What do we find? So only the broken images. So everything drought everywhere. Only death is surrounded there. So the heap of broken images is found. So again he has drawn this source from Bible in Ezekiel, from Old Testament. Then the meaning of come in under the shadow of this rock. These lines are very similar to the opening line of Eliot's early poem, The Death of Saint Narcissus. Please make a note of it. There is the red rock, come in under the shadow of this red rock. So it is a quote from his own poem, The Death of Saint Narcissus. Then a handful of dust. So that is the interesting thing. This significant phrase is found in John Donne's work, Devotions upon Emergence Occasions. So here he has derived from John Donne. So like that, so many things are alluded. Fresh weather, wind, der Hammers, main Irish kind, oh, Wales do. So here like that, so this line is very unusual. So here, what is the meaning of that? Eliot himself has referred to Tristan and Isolde. Please make a note of it. So here, some critics believe that the narrator of this poem is Tristan. So here, so there is a reference to Tristan and Isolde, verses 5 to 8. The reference is to Richard Wagner's musical opera. So please make a note of it. Tristan and Isolde, it was written by Richard Wagner. So it was a musical treaty in which he tries, the wind blows fresh to the homeland, my Irish girl, where are you lingering? So the song begins like this. Then he continues, you gave me hyacinth, which means a flower presented as a symbol of resurrection. So this is a symbolic representation. So you gave me hyacinth first a year ago. They call me the hyacinth girl. Yet, when we came back late from the hyacinth garden, your arms full and your hair wet, I could not speak and my eyes failed. I was neither living nor dead, and I knew nothing, looking into the heart of light, the silence. What is the, look at that, looking into the heart of light, the silence, ode under Lear das Meer. So here something, it seems to be not comprehensive. It is an experience of love which is partly mystical. So here he just explains his relationship, the tragic passion of Tristan and Isolde, and the potion they drink binds them together eternally. They drink some substance. Silence is the heart of light is an image derived from Dante's Paradiso. Please make a note of it. Silence, right? So silence in the heart of light. So that is the image that is derived from Dante's Paradiso. It confirms the religious meaning of the experience in the hyacinth garden. So hyacinth garden represents resurrection. Then regarding the next one, so Mere, so the last one, it is another reference to Wagner's opera, Tristan and Isolde. So here extensively T.S. Eliot has quoted and alluded from Wagner's Isolde. Stanza 3. Madame Chasotris, famous clairvoyant, had a bad cold. Nevertheless, is known to be the wisest woman in Europe, with a wicked pack of cards. Again, this is another allusion, Chasotris, right? So there appears a fake fortune teller, right? She's a fake fortune teller in Adolf Huxley's novel Chrome Yellow, which was published in 1921. So here Eliot had read this novel before writing The Wasteland, it is believed, but the borrowing is quite unconscious. Originally, it was an Egyptian name, Chasotris, the person who used to tell the fortunes of others. Chasotris was a clairvoyant as she had the ability to predict and to see things which are indeed out of her sight. The quality of her is, so here another important thing is, so the people predict false things in the modern time. So that is the idea behind it. Then he continues here, said she, is your card, the drowned Phoenician sailor. Those are pearls that were his eyes. So here another Phoenician sailor. He is a kind of fertility god whose image was committed to the sea and later reclaimed. He is also shown as Phlebos in section of The Wasteland. So later, so please keep him in mind. So in the 4th section also he is found. So here he was a drowned sailor. Here is Belladonna, the lady of the rocks, the lady of situations. So here we have another girl. She is an Italian. So her name means she is a beautiful lady. It is the name of a flower which is used for making a drug which enlarges the pupil of the eye, and is also the name of the 3 fates in classical mythology. Belladonna, the lady of the rocks. So it is actually a plant. It is actually a plant. Additive substance, which means beautiful lady. It is a drug which makes the people's eye grow larger. Here is the man with 3 staves. Which means he is identified. So suddenly another image comes. He is identified with a mythical fisher king. Here he is only a figure on the tarot pack of cards. So here is the man with 3 staves, and here the wheel, and here is the one-eyed merchant. One-eyed merchant refers to the sailor, right? There is one-eyed man, Jack Sparrow, so that original story. And here is the one-eyed merchant, and this card, which is blank, is something he cries on his back, which I am forbidden to see. I do not find the hanged man. So there is an allusion to this. So let me tell you that it is a figure with a T-shaped cross. Normally cross has a plus shape. So it is a T-shaped cross. On the tarot pack, a man is hanging. So there a man is hanging there. Eliot obviously associates him with James Fresher's hanged god. So who is the divine idol sacrificed for restoring fertility to the land. According to Greek belief, so the hanged man refers to a symbol, so that ensures fertility to the people. Fear death by water. It is a timely warning which reverberates in many places. Actually, so this has been, this is appear in the fourth section also. It is a practice followed in the ancient time in Greece. So coming to the point, the poet continues, I see crowds of people walking round in a ring. Thank you. If you see dear Mrs. Equiton, Mrs. Equiton, tell her I bring the horoscope myself. One must be so careful these days. So I hope you remember earlier there was Madam Chasotris who was a fake fortune teller. So from this description we understand the narrator along with another one with the horoscope he is looking for that fortune teller. But what do we find? There is a symbol of fertility, but broken here and there. Unreal city. In this allusion, Eliot refers to the poem by Charles Baudelaire, Baudelaire, Charles Baudelaire, entitled Les Sept Village. There is the seven old men. So, unreal city. What is that unreal city? He quotes the original French poem, and in which the English translation reads, crowded city, city full of dreams, where in broad daylight. So the unreal city of a city seems to merge with the other unreal cities such as Eliot's London or Dante's city of Inferno. So Inferno, so the hell in one way. So Eliot compares modern London to an unreal city in which so many unnecessary things take place. Under the brown fog of winter dawn, so it is the time of winter, early in the morning, a crowd flowed over London Bridge. So many, I had not thought death had undone so many. So here it looks like a procession, funeral procession. So many people went. Sighs, short and infrequent, were exhaled. So people were breathing differently. And each man fixed his eyes before his feet, flowed up the hill and down King William Street. So they are going, that men going in the King William Street to where Saint Mary will not kept the hours with a dead sound on the final stroke of 9. So here Saint Mary Woolnoth, a famous Anglican church with a beautiful interior decorations designed by Sir Christopher Wren. So here in that street, this particular church is available in King William Street. So early in the morning, a group of people, so many people are going. Dear friends, I hope this video was useful to you. Whether you are preparing for PGTRB exam or NET examination or any exam related to English literature, studying and understanding each and every line of T.S. Eliot's The Wasteland is very important from a student's point of view as well as exam point of view. The remaining sections are available in detail in the main course. If you wish to join us, please text us. Thank you. All the best.